heart-thumping, ear-splitting screams. And worst of all, blood covering the halls, dead bodies everywhere, and some lay unconscious on the ground. Eva was running for her life, her golden locks beating against the rush of wind she was running. Could it really be? No. Those words pondered her mind like crazy, while running through the never-ending bloody hall. Around the corner, Ava found a staircase, but it wasn't grand like you normally see in the movies. It was more like a one-star wooden staircase used in the olden age. No time to be choosy, she said to herself, and started running down the staircase. But she tripped. Ow! What the hell was that? And turned to look at a beheaded man's head. Eva's life soul seemed to jump out of herself, and she sat there ghosted for what seemed like an eternity. Shaking her head, she started to skip the stairs and rush downstairs just in time before the door closed. Eva ran towards it, sensing relief, only till she heard the clock chime. The doors closed in front of her. She was just an inch away from reaching the door, and she fell flat on her face. Lucky me, she said, gritting her teeth. She got up and dusted her dress. You know what? I'll just sit here till midnight again for the 13th time and finally be free, Ava said loudly. She crossed her arms and legs and sat down on the dusty brown tiled floor. She was stubborn, but you really can't blame her. The atmosphere was dark and eerie, with cold, dark shadows lurking each corner. Is this really my freaking destiny? Then I give up. Someone please hand me my death certificate, she said, mocking the shadows that was crawling towards her. I might as well sleep right now. She rested her head towards the door and closed her eyes. It was indeed not the most comfortable place she has ever been, but it was enough to get some sleep. Creak! Something opened, but in the noisiest was possible. Ava felt something off, but she couldn't wake from her slumber. She twitched, but her body didn't respond. Oh, great! I fell into a coma, she thought herself. She felt herself being carried, which made her scared, seemed to pump life back into her body. She opened her eyes at once and saw the most handsomest man on earth carrying her. He had dreamy eyes with golden hair and the most perfect face. Ava couldn't resist the temptation to touch his face and got carried away. She touched his face only to realize it was hard plastic. When reality slapped her hard, she saw a monster who was like human but had no face. The monster, feeling a bit human, wore a mask to hide his hideous face and was carrying Eva to a bed. Instead of a thank you, it felt a cold, hard punch knocking on his face. Eva fell to her butt, but quickly ran away. This time while running, she found an axe barged into a death man's skull. She pulled it out with all her might and used it to break a nearby window as fast as she could. The monster from earlier seemed to recover and was raging towards her at full speed. Finally, she did break the window and jump out of it without a second thought. But after seeing how high it was, I'm pretty sure she regretted her decision right away. After a while, she opened her eyes to realize she was still alive. She checked if she had any broken bones, but to her surprise, none. She thought she was lucky, only to find she was sitting on top of the same monster as cushioning. The monster looked pretty squashed, but Eva didn't stop to thank the monster for its sacrifice and started running away for freedom. And that's how the great Eva was never seen again, probably living somewhere luxurious.